Upgrades, upgrades, upgrades. Get your upgrades nice and hot and fresh. Hello, Captains. Hope you're having a wonderful day out there. Unless you've been living under a rock in Star Trek Online, you know that this past weekend was an upgrade experience weekend. This is where we get to take our energy credits, our dilithium, our tech upgrades, and upgrade gear and equipment on your ground and space character build setup. That's right, upgrading gear either in mark level to get up to mark level 15, which is the highest currently, or upgrading in rarity, going from normal to uncommon to rare to very rare to ultra rare and then epic. And that is the gist of it. I have spent a lot of time doing that this weekend. I have done a lot of upgrades. Let me just say, a lot of upgrades. A lot of sweeping upgrades on, let's say, my most used characters. I have a lot of characters in the game, but you have to be careful with these upgrades because they can get costly. Even with a double XP upgrade weekend, it can still get costly in dilithium, energy credits, and tech upgrades. So you do need to be a little bit choosy in what you upgrade. I suggest always starting with your weapons on a double XP upgrade weekend, your ship weapons, because outside of a double XP weekend, they are a pain in the butt to upgrade. It takes a ton of tech upgrades to hopefully get it to go up to that next quality level and then ultimately to mark 15, but it's really getting the rarity upgrade. It takes so many, and even getting the mark level upgrade, it takes a lot. So outside of this, if you do consoles, those typically don't take as many tech upgrades, so those go a little quicker, and you can actually upgrade consoles easier on a non-upgrade weekend. But on an upgrade weekend like we had, concentrate on your Starship Weaponry first. Start, your beams, your dual heavy cannons, your projectile weapons, your turrets. Start with those things first, because that's where you're going to benefit the most from this double experience weekend. Then go down to your ship stuff like your deflector, your shield, your engine, your warp core, and then below that, finally, do your consoles last, because you can technically do those outside of one of these weekends if you run out of stuff this weekend to do that with. That's what I suggest, and that's what I've been doing. And like I said, I've done this on several of my characters. Let's see, I think I've done it on 4 out of my characters, so I still have a lot of characters that are not upgraded that just didn't get the sweep this weekend, and that's just simply because I'm out of everything. Out of Zen, out of energy credits, out of dilithium, out of tech upgrades. I used it all. I just went wild this weekend. But I did this for you. I did this so that I can start bringing you awesome Starship reviews again in the future. I have built my characters up so that I have basically a standard energy type build on each one, so that I can just get new starships in, apply that gear on those ships, and review ships with some awesome gear. All Mark 15, all epic. Nothing but the best. And that is why I have done all that. So what I'm going to do in this video, since I'm babbling along here, is I'm going to kind of go through my characters and just show you the upgrades that I've done so that you know what to expect in the coming Starship reviews, because I'm going to start getting back into that here this winter. You're going to start seeing more Starship reviews on my site once again. I know it's been a very long time, and I'm going to get back into that. So this is my main character, the Doctor. He is a science career on the Federation Starfleet faction. He was my first character I ever created. I'm going to bring up my inventory and my current ship build, which, by the way, is a Science Spearhead Tier 6, the USS Discovery type starship. I will be doing a full review on this starship, and I finally have a good build now that I can do that with. And yes, we are using some good stuff on this thing. I've got sensor-linked phasers sensor-linked phaser beam arrays, and then in the back I've got sensor-linked phaser turrets and one emitter-linked and one integrity-linked. So all the benefits of those sensor, emitter, and integrity-linked weapons on this ship. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then what I've done a little different on this ship, and I think is going to be very unique, is instead of using a reputation deflector, impulse, warp, and shield setup, I am using fleet versions. I am using the highest fleet version possible that you can get. And the reason for this is to give you kind of a, Starfleet build, kind of a Federation build, something that's not based on Iconian tech, something that's not based on Dominion tech, something that's not based on Terran tech. No, none of that stuff. We are using what would probably be considered stock Federation Starfleet equipment on a ship, and that would be what is available in the fleet, in your fleet gear. And so for that example, and I'm going to go over all this in the build when I do the review of the ship. This is not the review of the ship right now. I'm just going over all the stuff I upgraded. But I'm talking like the Elite Fleet Adaptive Covariant Shield, the Elite Fleet Plasma Integrated Warp Core, the Elite Fleet Efficient Impulse Engine, and then the Elite Fleet Fermion Deflector Array. I'm going to go over all this stuff later in the actual review, but I just want to show you that I've got this like cool kind of Starfleet build here, but using those sensor-linked, integrity-linked, emitter-linked stuff that you get with the Discovery. And as you can see, Mark 15 All Epic spent a ton of resources getting that upgraded. Same on the consoles. Everything is ready to go. Mark 15 Epic. So this is going to be a good review when I get to this. It's going to be great. The ship is very powerful with this setup. Now, in the future, since this is my science character and he's based on the Doctor, which is a time traveler, I also have a different kind of build, whereas this is a phaser build here on this ship, because that's what it came with, are these sensor-linked phaser beam weapons, integrity-linked, all that emitter-linked stuff. It's all phaser-based energy. But the build I had before this, and that I usually put on all my science ships, is actually a temporal build, because I love time travel. 100% I am into time travel. One of my favorite characters on screen is the Doctor, a time traveler. And I love time travel in Star Trek. The 29th century stuff, 31st century stuff, anytime we can get future Star Trek, Starfleet stuff, I love it. So it is without wonder that I have put on the temporal reputation set in the past, and I will be doing that moving forward. So what I've done is spent some energy credits and tech resources and dilithium and all that to upgrade all of my temporal reputation gear. And it's kind of a mess here in the inventory. It's kind of all spread out, so just ignore that for right this second. But of note is the Temporal Defense Initiative Regenerative Shield, the Temporal Defense Overcharge Warp Core, the Temporal Defense Combat Engine, and the Temporal Defense Deflector Array. This is the Temporal Reputation set from the Temporal Reputation. And as you can see, all Mark 15, all Epic, ready to go. And then I have a secondary deflector that I use with that build, and then the rest of that set, the Advanced Temporal Defense Chronoton Beam Array, the Advanced Temporal Defense Chronoton Torpedo Launcher, the Chronoton Drive Actuator. So as you can see, this is all Chronoton based, which if you know anything about Star Trek Online, also means antiproton. So antiproton and Chronoton are synonymous. It's basically the same energy type. So what benefits antiproton can benefit chronotons. And so basically this is an antiproton build. This is my high antiproton build. So I use that, and then I've got, of course, the consoles to go with it. Antiproton damage. Ooh, I think I have one somewhere else. I should have like three or four of these. I think I might have them in my bank. But I need to check and make sure, because I probably am going to need more than 2 consoles here. I had more. I know I had more because I've had this build for a long time. They just need to be upgraded to Mark 15. I'll have to go find them. But anyway, I'll have the consoles, of course, and then I've got a Mark 15 Epic Kinetic Cutting Beam if I need it as well. Sometimes I put that in the rear. Oh, and I've got two 360-degree omnidirectional anti-proton weapons. I've got the omnidirectional anti-proton beam array, and then I got the ancient omnidirectional beam array from the Dyson stuff. So that's two 360-degree anti-proton beams, Mark 15 Epic, and I can throw those in the back. You know, throwing the cutting beam and these two things in the back of a science ship means that they will fire forward or fire anywhere because they're 360 degree with all of your other weapons. So you get the most firepower impact out of like a science ship, which usually does not have a lot of weapon slots. And that's one way that you can maximize damage on a science ship. And so I have that build ready to go. Also got a engineering Xenotech power flow module ready to go if I want to use that as well. And then there are other things in this build that I will use in that build. For example, I've got the quantum phase converter. That's phaser damage, never mind. I got this one here, the temporal disentanglement suite. And this has all kinds of benefits, including improved damage, critical severity, and chance based on your auxiliary power level. And what's important for a science character? Auxiliary power level. So that means my critical severity and chance will go way up with this console on a science build. And then I got this nice exotic particle field exciter. Somebody gave me this a long time ago in the game. I forgot who it was, but thank you for that. It is a very cool console that I use on all my science builds. I also have, of course, from way back, the Plasmonic Leech. I still got it on there, even though I know it's been nerfed to heck. I still have one, Plasmonic Leech. So yeah, this is a character that is ready to, one, give you a good review of the Science Spearhead, and then in the future, put on new ships of the Science Variety. This is going to be all science ships on this character, and use temporal. Oh, I forgot to mention the beams that I'm using. I got several new beams and stuff I'm going to try out here. I've got a Herald anti-proton dual beam bank, and I upgraded it to Mark 15 Epic. By the way, don't pay attention to the modifiers yet, because the modifiers can be re-engineered, remember, and I'm out of re-engineering stuff. Like, see, I would not want critical chance times 3 on this, no way. But I cannot re-engineer. I've got some dilithium, but you know, I'm low on the salvage, so I need to salvage more things so that I can, you know, re-engineer the modifiers on these. So don't worry about the modifiers. That will be fixed over time. I just have to play the game more. But I like this Herald one, because check this out. Herald anti-proton weapons have a chance to give you bonus damage for a short duration. So they can do bonus damage. I like that about the Herald weapons. So I've never really used them in a complete build. I mean, I've used them like testing them with the Herald ships. I've done maybe one Herald ship and Iconian ship, and I used like them there, but they weren't really upgraded that well. So this will be the first time that I'm actually going to use one that's really upgraded. And then, of course, I'll modify the modifiers. Yeah, modify the modifiers, and then it will be even better. And then I also got a Delphic anti-proton dual beam. That one's cool, too, because check this out. Delphic anti-proton weapons have a chance to drastically increase your critical chance and critical severity for a short time. So both chance and severity can be increased with Delphic ones, and that's why I have a Delphic anti-proton build on another character we're going to go over. But I got that to play with too, so I can have either one. Either one is anti-proton damage, so either way they'll be benefiting, and I can just play with which one I like better. And then I also got two Herald anti-proton beam arrays, because obviously I'm going to need some more beam arrays somewhere in the build. So I just got two of them and upgraded them to Mark 15 Epic as well. Again, I'll change the modifiers later when I can. So that's the build. It's going to be really cool on future science ships. It's going to be all temporal, and then either probably end up with the Herald anti-proton setup on this build, because I got Delphic on another one already. But I can play around with that. Oh, and I do have just a regular anti-proton dual beam bank with pin on it. So I do have that as well. I was using that before anything else, so I can go back to using that with pin if I want, or I got just these different options I can play around with. So that's going to be a really cool build in the future as far as the ship reviews go. And I'll just quickly go over the ground stuff. I did upgrade all my main characters to Mark 15 gear. I didn't change their gear, I just upgraded them to Mark 15 because I already had them up to like Mark 14, so I just needed to go one higher. So I got my Herald Antiproton beam projector, of course, and I've got the temporal ground set on this character, as you can see, temporal defense initiative, kit frame, and all my modules. I just basically upgraded everything to Epic 15 so that when I'm in ground combat, I'll have the best of the best there as well. So that's my science character, and I think he's going to be able to bring you some awesome Starship reviews in the future. Let's move on to my other character, and I'm very excited about this one too. This is the Valyard I'm about to bring up. Again, another Doctor Who themed character, as most of mine are anyway. He is the second character I ever created in the game. He is an engineer, and he is also on the Starfleet Federation faction. An engineer. I like to have each career type on each faction. So, what I did on him, let's bring this up. Yeah, this is going to get interesting. Okay, that's a lot of gold stuff you're seeing. And let me tell you, he was the most expensive to upgrade. I mean, wow. It took a long time, it took a lot of resources, but I managed to do it, and I'm very proud and happy. I cannot wait to get into more stuff with him. So first of all, this ship, you're going to see a review of it coming up. This is the Kelvin Timeline Intel Dreadnought ship. Very iconic in the J.J. Abrams rebooted Star Trek. And you're going to see it, the Vengeance, as it's called. And I got it here, and look at my build. All Mark 15 epicked up the wall. So I've got the unique Kelvin Timeline phaser emitters. All beams. That was so expensive. Again, start on your beams and projectiles before upgrading anything else, because that's going to cost you the most. As you can see, it's also a phaser build on this one, but it's not the build that I would do permanently on this character, and that's where this stuff's going to come in. I've got the Kelvin Timeline Photon Torpedo, and for my space set on this ship, I'm using the Soul Defense set. So I got the Soul Defense Deflector, the Soul Defense Impulse, and the Soul Defense Covariant Shield Array. Now, this Soul Defense set is actually based on Iconian tech. When you read the lore about this gear, it's based on like backward engineering Iconian technology for defense of Starfleet. And the Elite Fleet Plasma Integrated Warp Core, and then all my consoles here as well, of course, and then my hangar bay is also maxed out. So this is going to be a good review. Finally got this ship upgraded the way I want it so that I can bring you guys a good review of this ship. It's going to be pretty awesome to see this thing in battle. It is very powerful, and I've done a lot of things to increase like the crit severity. For example, look at my modifiers on these things. I have been re-engineering this one. Accuracy, crit D, and then crit D times 4. Crit D times 4. Crit D times 4. Crit D times 4. And then check out the rear. Crit D times 4. Crit D times 4. And then this one I needed. This one is also crit D times 4. These two are accuracy damage. These I need to change to accuracy crit D. Then I'll have accuracy crit D and then crit D times 4 on like every weapon on this thing. So you can imagine my critical severity on this ship. When I get a crit, and I do get a crit, it is just a massive amount with this ship. And firing this many beams at once with like fire at will, you can just imagine the damage this thing deals out. It's lovely. It is absolutely lovely. And you guys are going to love it when you see it. It's a powerful build. And of course I'm using my Disentanglement Suite, which increases critical chance and severity based on your auxiliary power as well. So this is going to be a good build. This is really, really a powerful build here, and that's going to be awesome. But moving forward, when I put on other ships on this character, which by the way, this character will use cruisers mostly. Cruisers, battle cruisers, or carriers, because this is an engineering character. With that moving forward, I've decided to do something different with this character. Normally in the past, this is kind of the build I would have. I'd use the Soul Defense system, and then I used to have anti-proton beams on this character. Well, what I've got now is a disruptor setup. But not just any old disruptor setup. I'm using a combination of both the Terran reputation, and you guys know the good stuff from the Terran reputation when it comes to disruptors, and the Nausicaan disruptor stuff. That's new. And I've never had a build with the Nausicaan disruptor stuff put on there. So I figured, why not do both together? That would have to be a very powerful build. All disruptor damage. I could really maximize my disruptor damage. And so that's what I've done. I've got a Terran Task Force Photon Torpedo, the Terran Task Force Disruptor Beam Array, the Ferrofluid Hydraulic Assembly from that, and then of course the Terran Task Force Deflector Array, Impulse Engine, Warp Core, and the Terran Task Force Covariant Shield, all Mark 15 Epic, ready to go. So I'll have the complete Terran set on there. But then in addition, I've also got the Nausicaan Energy Torpedo, the Nausicaan Disruptor Beam, and the Nausicaan Siphon Capacitor. Now this Siphon Capacitor also increases disruptor damage, but check out what the 3-piece of this does. More details. The 3-piece of this, which I've got all 3 as you can see, also increases disruptor damage, plus 28.5%. So I'm going to have just a ton of disruptor damage on this build, and then of course my tactical consoles to increase disruptor damage with that. So this thing increases disruptor damage. Having all 3 of these pieces increase disruptor damage. I've got this, and then I got the Terran Task Force, which is all disruptor damage as well altogether. Oh man, is this going to be great? I cannot wait. It's going to be a good thing. I've never used this build on any ship, and I cannot wait to do it. It's going to be so good. And to sweeten the pot, because I had to make this just totally epic and go overboard, because it's not me unless I don't go overboard. I got, that's right, I got sensor-linked disruptor beam arrays, sensor-linked disruptor dual beam bank, and also integrity-linked. So sensor-linked improves your critical hit severity with weapons. And what do I already have a lot of? Critical severity. Accuracy, crit D, and then crit D times 4 on everything. And now I've got sensor-linked weapons, disruptor weapons, to put on there that also can improve critical hit severity with weapons. Oh my gosh, the crit severity is going to be through the roof. That's going to be pretty impressive. So I got a lot of sensor-linked stuff here, and then integrity-linked is if I want to make a real tanky build, because this is my engineering character. He flies a lot of cruisers. Maybe I want to make him tanky. So this increases your Starship maximum hit points, which is your hull strength. So I got integrity-linked. If I want to make a tank build, there's my integrity-linked weapons to do that. And then if I want to make a DPS build, here's my sensor-linked weapons to do that. Yeah. This character, I am so impressed, and I cannot wait to do some future ship reviews on this thing, because it's going to be an awesome build, I think. Whew, it's a lot. Alright, let's get to my third character. Oh, ground. I didn't show you ground. On ground, same thing. I basically just upgraded everything to Mark 15. I use the Terran Task Force ground set on this character. Same weapon. I love the Herald Antiproton beam projector. So all Mark 15 epic everywhere. This character has a solar gateway, the Overcharge turret, the Iconian turret. So this character is like Antiproton, Iconian kind of based. Terran Task Force now, Disruptor also. He's going to be good. He's going to be good. Alright, let's go to my third character that I did some upgrades on. This character I didn't have to do too much on because I already had everything up to Mark 14 epic. I just needed to go to Mark 15, and I did not do a second build with him. I just did a primary build. So this is, where's my character? The War Doctor. The War Doctor, well, we won't get into where he comes from, because if you've not seen Doctor Who, you would not know. But, the new Doctor Who, that is. But he is the War Doctor. Now, he is a tactical character, and also based on the Starfleet Federation faction, but he is my tactical character, and he's going to fly all of my escorts. Anything that's fast, anything that's maneuverable, pilot-type ships, he's going to do that, okay? Now, I already had a good build on him, so I didn't have to do much. The ship here that I'm going to be reviewing next is the Breen Plush Heavy Raider Tier 6. This was a winter event reward, if I recall correctly, the winter one. And this is a ship that I've been meaning to do a review on since last winter. So it's been on here a very long time, and I'm finally going to get to that review because I finally have a good build on this character. And that is, as I mentioned, this is my Delphic Antiproton character. Now, the other piece of the puzzle that makes him very powerful is using the Iconian set, because the Iconian set on a tactical character is very powerful. It has a lot of cool abilities that can improve your damage. So I've got the Iconian Deflector, the Iconian Impulse, the Iconian Warp, the Iconian Shield, so it's all Iconian based, but then my weapons are Delphic Antiprotons. And again, Delphic Antiprotons have a chance to drastically increase your critical chance and severity. And so they are very powerful. And then I also have an advanced Radiant Antiproton dual heavy cannon as well. This is part of the Radiant Armaments set. And if you had all of that, which actually I do have all of it, you get Starship hull capacity, temporary hit points, and advanced Radiant Hypercharge. Your advanced Radiant weapons fires extremely powerful blast. If target is below 50% max hull, it deals additional damage based on missing hull. So this is a powerful set here. Again, all part of the Iconian stuff. And then the advanced Radiant Quantum Torpedo launcher as well, and then of course the console to go with it somewhere down here. Here it is. The sustained Radiant Field, which the bonus to outgoing hull heals, and then it's also got a bonus all weapon damage, and then a shield heal as well. But that's that complete set of the Iconian stuff, so it gives me a real powerful build there. And then in the back, 2 Delphic Antiproton turrets. So it's an Antiproton build using the Iconian reputation. And then I got my experimental hyper-excited ion stream projector upgraded as well. Now, I know that one of the really cool ones out right now is the Hand of the Prophets or something like that. A very cool ability. I want to get that. I don't think I have that, but I would like to try that ability. That sounds cool. I got my tactical consoles here. Again, my disentanglement suite. I just like that on all my characters. I also have the reinforced armaments, which gives me hull capacity, hull restoration, and power transfer rate. Because when you're in an escort, you know you want that hull restoration. When you hit a hull healing ability, you need a high level of healing because you're in an escort. So that's my basic build here, and this review of the ship's going to be real good. It's real powerful, but that's not all. I mentioned I didn't have a second build. I forgot. With this ship, I actually do have a little bit of a second build because it's based on a Breen ship. Because it's a Breen ship, I needed to also try the Breen space set because there is a Breen space set in this game, and so I did upgrade that as well. I've got the Breen Dielectric Oscillation Resilient Shield. I've got the Breen Polarized Parabolic Deflector Array, and then the engine is somewhere. Where are you, engine? There you are. The Super Cooled Combat Impulse Engine. Those are all part of the Breen Absolute Zero set. Oh, and, of course, I forgot, the main piece to all this, which I got during the last winter event, the Cryoplasma Infused Warp Core. So I have all 4 pieces of the Breen Absolute Zero set. And so if we click on more details, you'll see that gives you a transphasic projectile damage. That means I need to put on a transphasic torpedo on that, probably. Starship Electroplasma Flow. You get a Breen Energy Siphon, and then eject Cryoplasma. Instead of Warp Plasma, it's Cryoplasma out of your ship. So four abilities set there. And I have all that. I don't know if I have a transphasic torpedo. That might be one thing I overlooked, because that increases your transphasic torpedo. I'm going to have to go get one. yeah, I'll get a transphasic torpedo, so just that we get the most out of that build when I try it. But when I review the ship, I'm going to review it two ways. I'm going to review it with this Iconian build here, and then I'm going to put the Breen Cryoplasma Absolute Zero builds on here and try it with all the Breen stuff, since it's a Breen ship. You know, how good is it with the Breen stuff if it's a Breen ship, right? And we get to try out the Breen Cryoplasma and the Breen Siphon on this ship. So I got those things to do that with this ship. But then moving forward beyond this ship, I'll just go back to using this Iconian Delphic Antiproton build. And that will be my build for like every escort that I put on here. So this character is definitely built to do some damage. And let me tell you, he can do some damage. He can do some damage. And on the ground, I do have the Iconian set on the ground as well. All Mark 15 Epic, same weapon, Herald Antiproton Projector. All my abilities up here upgraded as well. I've got the Polaron Bombardment. I've got a Corrosive Grenade. Man, this thing is just nasty. This Corrosive Grenade, it is really cool though. So that is what I got on these three characters. So they are ready to review science ships, engineering ships, and escorts. And you're going to see some awesome ship reviews in the future now that I got all those upgraded. The last character I'm going to show you is one that I have not shown you much, but I am going to start doing ship reviews with her, and this is Romana. This is my main KDF faction character. This was the 4th character I ever created in the game. So this is Romana. She is an Orion, not a Klingon. She's an Orion female, but she is on the KDF faction. Total KDF faction character. She is an engineer. We need to go back to Kronos here, don't we? She is an engineer. And as I said, on the KDF faction. My very first KDF faction character I ever created. Now I don't have... at this point, by the time I got to her in my upgrades here this weekend, I did not have a lot of resources left. I just did not. So I think I've upgraded her mostly to Mark 15 Epic. There might be some things that are not. And in fact, there's probably more stuff that I want to get on her and upgrade as well. There's more sets and stuff that I want to try out. I basically have a Klingon kind of build on her, and it may not be the best build for everything, but it's what I got for now. I need to spend more time on her because she's been I haven't really done a lot with her, but I need to do more. But here is my build, and yeah, ignore my inventory, it's a mess. So the build I have on her, okay, see, I was able to upgrade everything to Mark 15 Epic. That's good. It's just the ground stuff I wasn't able to. Okay, so what I have on her is a kind of an interesting build. It's kind of like an Antiproton Crystalline entity build. For some reason, and I have no idea why, I just started collecting Crystalline entity rewards from the Crystalline Cataclysm event on this character. And as they start one after the other, and that's just kind of how it developed. And so I've kind of got this cool Crystalline entity catalysm kind of powers on this character, but it's antiproton based. So first of all, the set I have on here is the adapted KHG Graviton Deflectors Klingon Honor Guard. So this is adapted Klingon Honor Guard gear. No special other sets. This is all Klingon gear. I wanted to keep this character Klingon. So I got the adapted Klingon Deflector. I've got the Klingon Honor Guard Combat Impulse Engine, and I got the Klingon Honor Guard Covariant Shield. May not be the best set in the world or the best set for everything, but it is very Klingon. So at least it's that. And I wanted to keep it kind of thematic to that, to Klingon. And then I got the Elite Fleet Reinforced Warp Core Mark 15 Epic on that as well. Now this is where the fun part comes in, is my weapons. First of all, I've got some just regular Advanced Fleet Antiproton Dual Heavy Cannons. Now this was back when fleet weapons were really, really good and you wanted different modifiers. Way back in the day, what is important in terms of modifiers has changed a lot in the game. At one point in the game, during the beginning of the game, it was one set of modifiers that were good. Then it was a different set, and now it's a different set again. It's like keeps changing. But these were back in the day where fleet weapons were actually the best. And so I just don't have anything else on her at the moment. Nothing with pen, no other special weaponry. These are just advanced fleet, anti-proton, dual heavy cannons, accuracy ×2 and damage ×2. Probably not the best modifiers today. Damage is good, but the accuracy, there was a time when accuracy was important. It's not now. But that's what I have, and then I got turrets in the back as well. It's still a good build. It's still very powerful. They're Mark 15 Epic, so they're not like wimpy or anything. But this is where the good stuff comes in. In one of the Crystalline Cataclysm events, we had this cool Crystalline Energy Torpedo Launcher drop. Now, the cool thing about this torpedo launcher was that it is anti-proton damage. An anti-proton damage torpedo. And I was like, wow, that would fit good on this character. So that's what I did. And how we can benefit there is that means my tactical consoles here, which increase anti-proton damage, or anything that improves anti-proton damage, will improve the damage of the torpedo since it's anti-proton damage. And I just thought that was really cool. And also, this thing fires very uniquely. You'll see it when I show you the review of this ship, which I haven't done as well yet. It fires like 3 little missiles. And it looks like missiles flying out from your ship toward the enemy, and they leave a contrail behind them, like a red contrail behind them. It is a very cool looking effect, and it does pretty good damage. So I like that a lot. Look at that. It's a Christmas Gorn. A Christmas Gorn, I think. An Iconian Christmas Gorn. Nope, not Christmas, just a helmet. Still could have been. You never know. And then in another Crystalline Entity Catalysm event drop recently was this weapon, the Antiproton Matter Conversion weapon. This was a drop in that, and I thought, hey, you know what? This would be a good thing to continue with this character doing my Crystalline Entity kind of build on here, on her. And I wish they would put these together as a set. As you can see, they're the same color and same everything. Anti-proton matter conversion dual heavy cannons have a chance to restore whole hit points over time and a chance to reduce the target's resistance rating against all energy damage. The target's resistance rating against anti-proton is reduced more than other types of resistance rating. So it reduces their resistance rating to anti-proton, and what am I using? Anti-proton weapons. So that is really cool. That will help me do a lot of damage to the enemy, reducing their resistance, and then me doing more damage that way. So I wish they would put this set together, because I mean they could just make one of those 2 or 3 piece sets out of this, and I wish they would, because I've got them both on this ship and I think that's really cool. It looks cool too. Then another piece of the puzzle is I have this little thing here, the console universal crystalline absorption matrix. It does plus 19 energy damage resistance, plus 19% anti-proton damage. Again, that's why I have it on this build, because it's an engineering console that is improving my anti-proton damage. So I have my tactical consoles improving anti-proton damage, and then I got this crystalline absorption matrix also improving anti-proton damage. And when you turn it on, it has an energy resistance plus random anti-proton damage for 15 seconds plus 500 energy damage resistance rating. Once per second when hit by energy damage, a plus 13.3% bonus damage for the matter conversion beam. I have the matter conversion dual heavy cannon. I hope it also works for that. It just says beam there, but I'm hoping it also helps on that, because if it does, then that gives me a plus 13.3% bonus damage for that weapon. I'm assuming it does, and they just don't mention that it's also the dual heavy cannon. But I have that, so I've basically got this 3-piece Crystalline Entity set on here, and they need to make a 2 and 3 piece bonus for this, because they can put all that together. But that's what I have on her, and I think that's just a really cool build. I've also just got some standard stuff like the neutronium here. I need to get a Trellium. Need to get the Trellium D on there. I also got the House of Martok console. This is a new console. This improves your maximum hit points, but it also improves your shield power, your engine power, your capacity, and your flight turn rate. So this is just a cool console that is is neat to have on a ship. And I thought, well, hey, it's a Klingon build. Let's put the House of Martok defense configuration on there, and I get all those benefits with it. So that helps this ship turn a little bit better, and I get more engine power and shield power, hit points, and shield capacity out of it. Heck yeah, good thing for an engineering kind of cruiser build. And then I got the disentanglement suite. Like I said, I put that on everything. And then I have consoles. I've got 2 critical chance consoles and 2 critical severity consoles. I would probably have all critical chance today. This is from a long time ago. I used to have a combination of both critical chance and critical severity. We're going to go up into space real quick on this ship because I want to show you what my critical severity on this ship is. It's through the roof. And then this is the ground. This is where I ran out of resources, and I just did not have a chance to upgrade her on ground stuff. But she's got the Klingon Honor Guard ground set, Klingon Honor Guard personal shield, the Herald weapon, and all of that. But it's all Mark 14. I'm just out of resources to upgrade her to Mark 15. Can't do it out of resources. But normally I would have upgraded her to Mark 15 here as well on ground. But she's still pretty good on ground. She's not terrible. Mark 14 epic is not bad. Let's go to space real quick, and I want to show you what my critical severity, because I was kind of shocked when I saw it on the ship. I was like, man, why is that so high? Like, well, I did not expect it. Out of all my builds, I didn't expect the critical severity on this ship to be so high. But we'll compare it to my Valyard character actually here in a second, because I'm curious. There we go. Critical severity. Check that out. 105.7% critical severity. 105.7. Now I only got a 10% chance of hitting that, but when it does, 105.7% crit severity. Wow. Let's see what my Valyard character is. I doubt he's that high, even with those crit weapons. Oh, by the way, the modifier I'm using on my engineering, or my tactical character, is damage. So I'm using crit severity, crit D, on my science and engineering characters. And then on my tactical characters, I'm using damage modifiers, all damage. That gives you a little bit of idea of what I'm thinking. Let's see where we are on this character here. Yeah, the crit severity on this character is only 71.8%. But my crit chance, look at my crit chance, is 17%. So I'm going to have more crits on this character, even if my crit severity isn't as much. I'm going to be critting more, and that should help. Anyway, this will be a cool build. Look at all these intel abilities and stuff I put on here. I've got energy weapon, surgical strike 3, override system safeties 3, gravimetric conversion. Got some cool stuff on this ship. Boost morale 2. Anyway, so there you go. That gives you guys a little bit of a glimpse of where I'm headed in terms of bringing you Starship reviews. I'll be able to bring you good science ship Starship reviews using temporal sets and stuff in the future. And if I want to go back, if I need a phaser set, I'll still have that phaser set from the Discovery. And then engineering ships or cruisers, battleships, carriers, I'll be able to have a good build with this character, with that Nausicaan / Terran disruptor build. That's going to be powerful. And then, of course, I can always go back to the Kelvin phaser stuff if I ever needed to again. And then on my tactical character is all Iconian damage, Iconian Delphic antiproton with damage modifiers. So that's going to be powerful. And then for doing Klingon ship reviews, and yes, I'm going to do Klingon ship reviews in the future. I know that's something I haven't done, but I want to. I now have Romana up to a point where I have a Klingon space set on her. I've got some good antiproton weapons on her. I've got this like crystalline entity kind of set up on her, and she is prepared to finally do some Klingon reviews. And moving beyond that, looking at like Romulan ship reviews or Jem'Hadar ship reviews, I've got characters for those. I just don't have any more resources this weekend to upgrade those characters further, but I have made, I forgot one character I did make some upgrades on. I did make some upgrades on my Jem'Hadar character. Where are you? Yeah, I totally forgot about my Jem'Hadar character, and I don't know why. Where are you? Jim the Hadar. So if you know of my Jem'Hadar playthrough, this is one I've done recently, like real recently. And I was mentioning in those videos, I've been waiting for an upgrade weekend on my Jem'Hadar character. In the future, this character will be doing the Jem'Hadar ship reviews. So I'm going to get all the Jem'Hadar ships, and review them with this character. This is my character to do that with. There is a lot of gear, though, I don't have yet because I'm still playing through the primary storyline missions. But here's what I've upgraded on him. He is now all Mark 15 Epic. I can at least review this ship finally. This is the Jem'Hadar Escort Tier 5U. This is the free ship that you get when you start a Jem'Hadar character. And I have upgraded the base default gear you get with that. So the Jem'Hadar Deflector Dish, the Jem'Hadar Combat Impulse Engine, the Jem'Hadar Resilient Shield. So I have the full Mark 15 Epic Jem'Hadar space set on this character now. I also have the Gamma Synergistic Overcharge Warp Core. This is from the Gamma Reputation. I finally am getting some Gamma Reputation stuff on this character, which will help. And I also have part of the Gamma Reputation, the Advanced Wide Arc Inhibiting Chronoton Torpedo Launcher, which is, again, part of the Gamma Quadrant Reputation gear. And this is part of a set called the Task Force Ordnance, and I will have all pieces to that puzzle in the future. But at least I started with that, and I got the console to go with it. I've got the Ordnance Accelerator. This is improved projectile weapon damage, phaser directed energy weapon damage, and Polaron directed energy weapon damage, and I have a Polaron build on this character. So I have the 2-piece set to that already here, and am benefiting from the Set 2 bonus called Task Force Tunings, which if we look at that, gives me a plus 10% Chronoton weapon damage, plus 10% phaser, plus 10% Polaron, and a plus 10% flight turn rate. And I'm already benefiting from that. So I've got a good build started on this character now, and I am using the phased Polaron weaponry on this character. Why phased Polaron? Because that is what the Jem'Hadar used in the actual series of Deep Space Nine. It is mentioned upon their first encounter, in fact, that they were using phased Polaron weapons, and that's how they were able to get through their shields. So I wanted to keep that thematic on this character and use phased Polaron weapons, because that's what they use from the show. And then I got my other consoles and stuff upgraded, of course, as well. I got my tactical consoles, all Polaron weapon damage, critical chance. I got a field generator here for shield capacity. And this is unique. I got a science plasma generating weapon signature nullifier on here with stealth. So what this does is, number one, decreases my threat generation, because I'm in a very tiny little glassy ship. So I need to decrease my threat. It also has a plus 39.4 Starship Stealth, which improves my stealth. Again, that will help. And then it's got plasma-based exotic damage, which I'm not using yet on this character. This is a science character, but I don't quite yet have a science build here. But this also adds a plasma explosion proc to energy weapons, 2.5 chance to deal plasma damage to target. So just a little extra splash of damage there. And then I got my Neutronium console, and I got the Reinforced Armaments console, which is power transfer rate, hull restoration, and hull capacity. Make me a little more able to survive. And this is new. I never had one of these before. I got the Console Universal Shared Processing Integration. This improves Starship hull restoration and shield capacity, and a PBAOE holdover time and damage resistance buff. Brands himself in a 4-kilometer radius, plus 40 all damage resistance rating for 15 seconds, and plus 200 hit points every second for 15 seconds. Effects diminish drastically with distance. This is a cool ability. When you enable this near your friends, it shoots out all these like purple beams to all the friends around you and connects your ship to it and does this benefit to everybody. So it's really cool ability. It even looks cool. It's like, wow, what is that person doing? They're doing something to help me. It's cool. And it really does look cool. So this is going to be for my future Jem'Hadar ship builds. And I don't think, oh no, I did do some extra stuff on here. Yeah, see, I'm forgetting, because it's been, I've done a lot. I've done a lot, so I forgot who I upgraded and who I didn't. I do have the Gamma Synergistic Graviton Deflector, so I've already got another piece of the Gamma Quadrant stuff as well. The Gamma Quadrant Deflector array from the Reputation. Another Polaron damage console if I need it, and I also got some beams, phased Polaron beam arrays, because I'm thinking when I go to these other Jem'Hadar warships and stuff, I'm probably going to not want to use cannons on that, and probably going to want to use a beam build. So I got me some phased Polaron beams. And also an omnidirectional Polaron beam. This one I can put in the rear of any ship, and it'll do 360-degree Polaron beam damage. So I've got that basically configured for when I put on future Jem'Hadar ships. I can also have a good Polaron build on that ship using beams as well. And as you can see, I'm starting to work on getting that the Gamma Quadrant reputation. I'm already up to tier 4 of the Gamma Quadrant reputation, and so that's how I was able to get rewards and all that stuff, get those things. The next one that I'm working on is the impulse engine here. So I need these carapaces. I've only got 3, and I need lots of gamma marks. I'm out of gamma marks, but that's what I'm working on. So I'm working on getting all of the pieces of the Gamma Quadrant gear, and so in the future, what this character will have will be it'll have the Jem'Hadar space set, but also the Gamma Quadrant space set as well. All the Gamma Quadrant space set stuff, so I can use both different types on here to see which works best for the Jem'Hadar ships. So that's what's planned for this character. So this character will be doing these. He's ready now to do a review on this escort finally. That way I can get rid of it and go ahead and upgrade to another Jem'Hadar ship and work on that, so that I can get you a review of some Jem'Hadar ships as well, because I know that's going to be important. And on ground, yes, I did upgrade him as well. I've got my advanced Herald Antiproton beam projector. I've got the Jem'Hadar personal shield, the Jem'Hadar armor, and then a kit frame. And I upgraded everything to Mark 15 Epic on ground, so he is good to go. Because what I'm doing on him is I'm still playing through all these missions. Here's where I'm up to. I'm up to the Cardassian struggle, the Borg advance is where I'm up to. I actually need to finish the 2800 series on him first, and then get to the Borg advance. But you can see I got a lot of work to do on him to like play all the missions through, because there are other rewards in these missions that I do want on this character, but I don't have yet. You know, other gear and stuff, mission rewards that I don't have yet. So he's still a work in progress, but at least he's ready right now to do a review on this ship finally, and we can get it out of the way so I can upgrade to another Jem'Hadar ship. So yeah, I got that going on. Now, as for my other characters, like let's say a Romulan build, I don't have the resources right now to upgrade him. But my main Romulan character, Omega, he's not my main one. He's one I'm working on, but he's not my main one. Where's my main one? Crystalline, way down here at the end. This character is my main Romulan character. He is science. Science? I think he's science. Man, it's been so long since I've even been on this character. Look at that, he won't even load. Now, this character I have done no upgrading on this weekend. I'm out of resources. But, are you science? Yeah, he is science. But, I do have a build on this character. It's just not upgraded to Mark 15. But it is all epic. I've got Plasma Dual Beam Bank, Experimental Romulan Plasma Beam Bank, Romulan Hyperplasma Torpedo, Riemann Advanced Prototype Deflector, Riemann Advanced Impulse Engine, Singularity, the Riemann Advanced Prototype Covariant Shield. I've got Plasma Beam, so it's a plasma build with the Riemann set on here. It's a good build, and it's good for this ship, but it's also now needs to be upgraded to Mark 15, and I am out of resources to do that. But I will probably stick with that build on this character, and eventually, when I get him good enough, he will be doing Romulan ship reviews, because he's my main Romulan character, but he's science. So he's not going to be doing the bestest of the best. I have another character I'm working on, Omega, but he's not ready yet. And again, just all Mark 14 ground on him too. So eventually I'll get this character worked on. I haven't even logged on to this character in a long time, and I have other characters too. I use them a lot for testing things. Like I'll put a new ship on one of my other characters just to see what's on that ship, to see what I need to get from my other characters and so forth, and I'll use them for testing. But I have other testing characters, except actually I have a TOS character. I need to do some TOS ship reviews too. Man, there's a lot to do. On this character here, I have my TOS character, and I have on her, if she will ever load. Again, I haven't logged on to her in a long time either, but I have a pretty good. I have a pretty good disruptor build on her, using the Terran task force. And just regular disruptors with pin on them. But there's a lot of things that need to be upgraded. Look, I'm even missing a console here. What the heck? So there are things that I need to upgrade on her and that I haven't done. I want to get her to a point where I can do TOS Starship reviews. I need to get to some of these. This prototype Dreadnought cruiser, by the way, this Tier 6 prototype Dreadnought cruiser that I'm flying on this character is an awesome starship, and I mean awesome TOS era starship. This thing is powerful. I can do a lot of damage with it, and I can tank a lot with this thing. It is a very good ship. Look at my hull strength, 134,000 hull strength. Wow, this ship is very good. I like this, and I want to do a proper review for you, but I'm nowhere at the level where I am able to do that just yet properly. So that's something to work on too. So anyway, I got a lot of things to work on still, but I made a lot of progress this weekend. That's my point. So I'm going to finally be able to bring you some good science, engineering, cruiser type ships, tactical escort type ship reviews, and some Klingon ship reviews here real soon. I'm going to get to the Vengeance, do it first. Then I'm going to do the Crossfield, the Science Discovery. Then I'm going to do the Breen ship, so that'll take care of those three. And then I can get new ships on those characters, and then I'll do the Jem'Hadar ship as well. So I've got many good ship reviews planned in the future, and I am now prepared, by using this upgrade weekend, I am now prepared to bring you more well beyond that now also. So I'm very excited to get back into doing Starship reviews, because I really like showing you guys these new ships, you know, what they can do in space, how their powers work, the unique console, their unique abilities, everything that they can do. I want to demonstrate them in the best light possible, so that you can make a decision if you might be interested in one of those ships. And I'm finally going to be able to get back into doing that. I'm so excited, and I hope you guys will stay along for the ride. Now you see that I am geared up and ready to go for some good ship reviews. So if you want to see those good ship reviews, you know, subscribe, hit the bell for updates. You know what to do. And I will start bringing you some good Starship reviews this winter. And it's going to be, I'm going to like pop them out, you know, like bam, bam, bam. So just stay tuned, and you will see some good stuff here. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your upgrade weekend. It's actually almost over now, but, well, you'll be watching this video actually after it's over, so I hope it was a fun weekend for you upgrading, and I know it was for me. I love these upgrade weekends. Of course, you can upgrade, you know, any time between these kinds of upgrade weekends, but it's just that it allows you to do it with less resources during one of these double XP upgrade events. That's all. And especially with those weapons, man, upgrading the weapons, a pain in the butt, so you definitely want to do it on an upgrade weekend. Okay, that's my advice. That's what I got. That's what I've done. I hope somebody got something out of that. It's not just me boasting. It may sound like it, and I apologize if it sounds like I'm boasting. I do not intend or to boast or anything like that. I'm just showing you what I got so that you know what to expect coming up. Because I want to be, crystal clear on what I'm using on my builds and everything when you see a ship review. You need to know what my thought process is on the themes and my build and all that, because I like to keep kind of things thematic in a way and kind of as close to canon to the show as I can, but sometimes of course it's not. So I don't mean to boast. I'm just kind of giving you an idea of what to expect coming up, and so that you know that I put a lot of work into it, and that I am prepared to do all that for you guys, to show you some awesome ship reviews. Okay, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.